Hello and welcome back to Billy Big Bluffs, the series where I show that I am indeed the second coming of Tom Dwan, a true master of the art of bluffing.
He is loading the gun. He fires. 268,200.
Right, enough waffle, let's jump right into the hand. I'm on the big blind with a super sexy, double suited, zero gap rundown hand which is very nice to play.
Whoa, very nice.
I can hit a lot of boards very hard, but should also be approached with care and caution as it can get you into a lot of trouble by hitting the arse end of straights and low flushes. Under the gun raises some lame and insignificant amount.
You're lame, okay?
Which MPs having none of, and in an alpha show of strength bumps it up to 15 cents. You could be doing this with a lot of hands. Big pocket pairs, aces to tens, also big double suited Broadway hands and rundowns. It reaches me on the button and I just flat call. This may well be a mistake, and if I'm honest, through reviewing my hands I think this is a bit of a leak in my game, not free betting or raising enough from the button. I'm playing too passively and calling too frequently, and I believe this for sure is a situation where I need to ramp up the aggression and increase the price of entry to a flop.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Under the gun also calls and it's off to the flop, which I whiff completely except for a gut shot wheel draw. The pre-flop aggressor c-bets half pot after a wee bit of a think. Now when he does this, I perhaps wrongly exclude aces from his range, as I think most players at this stakes would be potting if they had a set of aces. I'm thinking something like kings, or perhaps a rundown which has connected to the 9 in some way, I don't know. And while I would like to say that I'm planning 2 streets ahead and setting up a river bluff when I call here, I would just be lying. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but it's probably something along the lines of needing to float an amount of flops to avoid being exploitable and weak, and I at least have something to work with regards to the 3, so I call and I'm immediately vindicated as the turn brings in a 7, which gives me a pair and also a wrap, as well as bringing in a flush draw. When my opponent again opts for a half pot size, it further confirms to me that he doesn't have a set of aces, because I reckon that he would want to protect his hand on such a wet and draw heavy board, and a pot size bet would accomplish that, giving most draws a tough decision and a hard time to continue. Like I would almost certainly have to fold to a pot size bet. So with this size, I now put him on kings or queens or perhaps a weak 2 pair. You may also have a drawing hand which is semi-bluffing, but if I called the flop then I'm most certainly not going to fold here after picking up some equity. The river comes the 10 and I've missed, but the 6-8 and 8 jack gets there with a straight. When my opponent checks, my mind is pretty quickly made up that I need to take a stab at this here. He was showing strength and aggression at every point before this, and this really just seems like he is waving the white flag, either because he also missed whatever draw he was chasing or his hand is a weak one.
What do you mean I'm weak? You're mentally weak.
Like a pair of aces or some kind of 2 pair hand, and he is indeed scared of the straight which came in on the river. So I think a little what my hand may seem like to him. I've been passive up to this point, just smooth calling all his raises and leadouts, which would be the line that someone with a draw would take, as a strong made hand would raise. So although the flush draw missed, I think the story adds up of having 6-8 or 8 jack, possibly with a 9 in my hand, as that would make sense to call on the flop. I go for the full pot size bet to make life as difficult for him as possible, and he does appear to be in the blender somewhat.
Wow, what a pansy.
As he takes his time before ultimately making the right decision with a disciplined laydown of his ace-king. Yeah, ace-king. I'm putting him on ace-king here. So please, be sure to hail me as the genius that I am in the comments. See you next time.